The day my wife looked me in the eyes and said, "You're not my husband anymore," something inside me went completely silent. No shouting. No begging. No dramatic scene. I simply nodded, picked up my coffee mug, and walked out of the kitchen. 48 hours later, she was standing outside the gates of my $10 million mansion, screaming my name while security refused to let her in. She thought I was being petty. She had no idea the house legally belonged to me alone. And she definitely had no idea why I'd finally stopped fighting for our marriage. My name is Daniel. I'm 42 years old, and for almost 15 years, I believed love meant sacrificing everything for the person you chose. Apparently, I was the only one who believed that. When I met my wife, Olivia, neither of us had much. I was running a tiny construction business with 2 employees and an old pickup truck that broke down every other month. She worked at a marketing agency and always dreamed of living in luxury. I admired her ambition. She admired my work ethic. At least, that's what I thought. During those early years, life wasn't glamorous. We rented a 1-bedroom apartment with leaky windows. Sometimes we'd eat cheap pasta 3 nights in a row because money was tight. But we laughed. We dreamed together. Or at least, I believed we did. Everything changed after my business landed a massive commercial contract. 1 project became 5. 5 became 20. Within 7 years, my company was worth more money than I'd ever imagined. I didn't buy sports cars. I didn't buy yachts. I invested. Bought commercial properties. Expanded the company. Built rental developments. Eventually, I purchased what people in our city called the Ridge House. A modern hillside mansion overlooking the entire skyline. 5 bedrooms. Glass walls. Infinity pool. Private theater. Wine cellar. A home worth just over $10 million. Olivia loved showing it off. She hosted charity dinners. Cocktail parties. Social events. Soon, she wasn't introducing herself as Olivia anymore. She was introducing herself as Daniel's wife. Back then, I thought that was love. Looking back, I think she loved the lifestyle more than the marriage. The first cracks appeared slowly. She stopped eating dinner with me. Started taking girls' trips every month. Became obsessed with social media. Every vacation had to be photographed. Every dinner had to be posted. Every gift had to be expensive enough to impress strangers. Meanwhile, we barely talked. Whenever I asked if something was wrong, she'd sigh. "You wouldn't understand." One night, I came home after working 16 hours negotiating a project overseas. I was exhausted. I walked into the kitchen expecting to surprise her. Instead, she barely looked up from her phone. "You're late." "I'm sorry." Again. "I had meetings." "You always have meetings." "I built this business for us." She laughed. "No. You built it for yourself." That sentence stayed with me. Because deep down, I knew it wasn't true. Things got worse after she met a wealthy group through one of her charity events. Every conversation became a comparison. Jessica's husband bought her a yacht. Rachel just got a Bentley. Do you know what Melissa wears? Nothing I did was enough anymore. Not because we lacked money. Because someone else always had more. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a Saturday morning. I'd planned a surprise weekend in Napa. Reservations. Private vineyard tour. Everything she'd once dreamed about. I walked downstairs carrying the itinerary. She was sitting in the living room. Suitcases already packed. "I'll be gone for a week." "What?" "I'm going to Miami." "I thought we had plans." I changed my mind. "Why?" She stood. walked toward me, looked me directly in the eyes, then calmly said, "You're not my husband anymore." I stared at her. What does that mean? It means emotionally. I checked out a long time ago. I don't feel married. I'm done pretending. Every word felt colder than the last. I asked quietly, "Is there someone else?" She rolled her eyes. "Does it matter?" That answer told me everything. I nodded once. "Okay." She frowned. "That's it? What did you expect? A fight? You don't even care?" I looked at her for several seconds. I cared for 15 years. Then I walked away. That afternoon, I called my attorney. Not because I wanted revenge. Because I wanted peace. Years earlier, when purchasing the mansion, my lawyer had insisted it remain protected as a separate asset due to the way the investment trust was structured. At the time, Olivia had agreed without hesitation. She never imagined we'd separate. Neither did I. 48 hours later, she came back. Only she wasn't coming home. She was coming to collect more designer handbags before leaving again. Except, her access card no longer worked. The front gate stayed closed. Security approached her politely. "I'm sorry, ma'am. We've been instructed not to grant access." She laughed. "This is my house." The guard remained calm. "I'm afraid it isn't." She called me immediately. I answered. "What is this?" I changed the security authorization. "You can't lock me out." "I already did. My things are inside. We'll arrange a time for supervised collection." "You've lost your mind." "No. I finally found it." She hung up. 10 minutes later, she was yelling through the intercom. Neighbors watched from nearby balconies. I stayed inside. Not because I wanted to hurt her. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't going to let guilt control me. The divorce wasn't easy. Her attorney demanded half of everything. My attorney presented years of financial records, business ownership documents, investment agreements, trust structures, property filings. In the end, she received what the law required. Nothing more. The mansion remained mine. So did the company. Ironically, the thing that upset her most wasn't the money. It was losing the image she'd built around it. Within months, the glamorous social circle she'd spent years impressing slowly disappeared. People who once filled our house every weekend suddenly stopped calling. It turned out, many of them had never been her friends. They were simply attracted to the lifestyle. A year later, I ran into Olivia at a charity gala. She looked different. Not worse. Just quieter. She approached carefully. "I owe you an apology." I listened. I spent years chasing appearances. I forgot the person who made all of it possible. I appreciated the honesty. But some bridges don't collapse overnight. And they can't be rebuilt in one conversation. "I hope you're happy," she said. I am. I finally understand something. What's that? You were never trying to buy my love. You were building our future. And I kept comparing it to someone else's present. I smiled politely. "I hope you find what you're looking for." She nodded. "I think I spent too many years looking in the wrong places." We shook hands. Then walked in opposite directions. Today, 3 years have passed. The mansion still overlooks the city. But it feels different now. Quieter. Peaceful. I've learned that a house isn't what makes a home. Respect does. Trust does. Choosing each other every single day does. Eventually, I met someone new. She couldn't care less how big the house was. The first time she visited, she spent more time admiring the old family photos in my office than the infinity pool outside. That's when I knew things were different. Because she wasn't impressed by what I owned. She was interested in who I was. And that's worth far more than $10 million. If there's one lesson I took from losing my marriage, it's this. The moment someone tells you that you're no longer their partner, believe their actions, not just their words. Love isn't measured by the size of a mansion, the price of a ring, or the balance in a bank account. It's measured by loyalty when nobody's watching. Because money can build a beautiful house. But only respect can build a home.